So, turns out, Mike Cammalleri had a little gas left in the tank after all. Question is, do the Edmonton Oilers have any room left for him in this year's model? He will be 36 by the time the 2018-19 NHL gets underway. And he will be a free agent on July 1st. Here's at least part of what Peter Chiarelli will be considering, when it comes to returning the veteran, or not. Offense: Mike Cammalleri has a long and productive NHL resume. 294 goals and 642 points in 900 games is not a Hall of Fame career, but one that is more than many players ever achieve. And early into the Oilers, when it was clear their offense was not firing on all cylinders, Peter Chiarelli went out and got Cammalleri from LA for UC Jokinen, who looked finished and then some. For a while, it looked like a nothing for not much transaction. Cammalleri only scored 2 Oilers goals by Christmas. By January, even, he had suffered through a 2 points in 15 games drought. Then, went 32 long games without a goal before finally scoring against one of his 6 NHL teams, the Calgary Flames, on March 31st. But while Cammalleri was having trouble scoring, he was making some good things happen with the puck. And by year's end, he had posted July 22, 29 in 66 games between the Oilers and Kings. Those aren't terrible numbers for a bottom 6 depth forward. If you believe in metrics, then Cammalleri had a fair bit more left in the tank than we anticipated. His CF percent 48.3 was his best in 5 years, and just off his career mark. His Fenwick was a 7-year best FF percent 50.1, and he had a PDO of 90.9. What I saw was a smart NHL player who knows where to go in the attacking zone, and is capable of intelligent little plays that often have bigger consequences. His offensive IQ was obvious. If that is what translates to good Corsi, then one can see how Cammalleri arrived at where he did, in those respects. The player also received somewhat favorable zone starts, which will have helped. And he also contributed in a positive way during the shootout, where he was 4 for 5 as a member of the Oilers. But I also saw a player who struggled, at times, to get to those spots when you score from. His foot speed is an issue, and that can often be reflected in shooting percentage. It's not that Cammalleri can't still fire the puck. He can, but the quicker, and the faster the NHL becomes, it is increasingly a game of inches. Losing half a step adds up fast. In Edmonton, Cammalleri posted a career-worst 3.8%, and on the power play, while not a feature player in any respect, had just 1 goal and 17 shots in 51 games. Could Cammalleri bounce back? Sure. Problem is, he just ain't getting any faster. Or younger. Defense: remember both Brad Park and Randy Carlyle playing high-quality NHL minutes, long after their top and even second gear had abandoned them. But they were such smart players, they could compensate. I saw a bit of that in Mike Cammalleri last. It is one reason why I have a measure of respect for the player. When the Oilers acquired him, though, I did not foresee Cammalleri contributing in a significant way to the defense. I saw him as a shooter. Turns out, Cammy had the IQ to make himself useful in a number of ways while without the puck. A -4 year, in terms of, is among his best handful. OFS. And that was on a pretty bad defensive club. On the third or fourth line, he played them game the right way, and against lesser competition, he was reasonably effective. Cammalleri turned out to be a surprisingly adept face-off man, 54.9%, albeit on just 113 draws. And later in the took a semi-regular turn as a penalty killer. Despite not being especially fast, having any kind of reach, just 59. After all, Cammalleri made a reasonable contribution, again, owing primarily to his smarts. So, he can do the little things that bottom 6 players need to be able to do, to stay in the league. And that's what Cammalleri is, at this juncture. Overall problem with Mike Cammalleri, going forward, is that at 36, even elite NHL players have a hard time keeping up. He is a long way removed from the player who scored 20 goals in the NHL 8 times, including 30 twice. I still have some time for the player. I admire what he's done, and how he has been able to transform in himself enough to stick around as long as he has. But ultimately, if Mike Cammalleri returns, he is likely competing with the likes of Brad Malone for a roster spot, most likely as a 13F. And he would need to be on a bargain basement contract, at that, as if $1 million last year was not. Contract, stature spending UFA, expiring 1 year, $1 million contract, signed July 1 of 2017 with the LA Kings. His actual cap hit was a shade higher than that. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Cammalleri catches on with an NHL team this as a depth forward. I just struggle to see a real fit for with the Oilers, though. After all, this was a team that did not have an abundance of speed to begin with, and Mike Camalleri's treads are starting to show their wear. Find me on Twitter at Kurt Levens recently, at The Cult. Staples, can Manny bring fast hockey vision to Edmonton? Kurdy, the new winger who knew. Staples, Oilers name assistant coaches.